on Thursday, February 12th, 2026, and I'm calling the Fraser City Council meeting, regular meeting, to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baranski. Councilmember Fletcher.
Present.
Councilmember Higgins.
Here.
Mayor Lesich.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Modell.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Shornack.
Present.
That is a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda that anyone would like? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead. Just-
Second. I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Higgins, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Odell to approve the agenda of Thursday, February 12th, 26th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item number 6, consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
You skipped 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I checked it off. All right. Item number 5, citizen participation on agenda items. If there's anyone in the audience that can't be here for this a particular agenda item, would like to speak on it now, please come on up. Seeing none, all right, now I can check it off. Item number 6, consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Make the motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Odell, seconded by Councilmember Baranski to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, item number 7, closed session. I'll make a motion to go into closed session for a strategy discussion with legal counsel regarding negotiations related to a collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mayor Lesich, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Odell. Roll call, please.
Baranski.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Lesich.
Yes.
Odell.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Shornack.
Yes.
We're closed.
Okay, we will now enter into closed session at 6:32 p.m.
I shouldn't, what? Thank you, Captain Obvious.
All right, it is now 6:47 PM, and we are back from the closed session. We'll now move to item 8, new business. Item 8A, residential corner lot fence ordinance text amendment. I believe we have Lauren Sayer from McKenna here. Good evening, Lauren.
Good evening. Looks like I've got one of these too. Well, for those I haven't met, my name is Lauren Sayer. I am the city planner, and as Mayor Lesich mentioned, I work for McKenna, so I'm a planning consulting firm. So the reason that this is being brought before council is we've had an increased amount of requests for privacy fences, so 6-foot and site obscuring on corner lots. Currently, our ordinance references a fence review committee, and if the fence review committee allows it, then a 4-foot non-site obscuring, so like a chain link type fence would be allowed on the side of a corner lot. So we believe that, there is a way to achieve the intent of the ordinance, which is to ensure that there's visibility at the corner intersections while allowing residents with these fences to have some privacy on their lot. So we did bring it before Planning Commission. It's currently in the regulatory ordinance in Chapter 9. But we are planning to move it into the zoning ordinance with the zoning ordinance update. So they discussed it at Planning Commission. I've brought kind of their recommendation, but I'll note that this isn't necessarily, officially how this ordinance, code of ordinance updates would typically be done. But provided in the memo was kind of what the existing ordinance is, a reference to that corner clearance. You can see kind of how the triangles are drawn. That's where that would be, and on the lot, and the fences wouldn't impede that. Within Planning Commission, we discussed kind of two approaches. We discussed allowing fences to extend beyond the front building line of the neighboring property and limiting them to the front building line of adjacent properties. And so on page 3 of the memo, you can see both options. You can see that option one allows that lot specifically. So back up. Functionally, it comes into play when a corner lot backs up to a house that faces the opposite direction. They don't kind of back up rear to rear. It's rear to side. And you can see that requiring them to not exceed the front building line of the adjacent property does limit almost in half of the usability of that. So ultimately, Planning Commission did go with the second option, and so what we're recommending is a change to section 9(3)(c), and what this would read is that privacy screens on residentially zoned or used corner lots are permitted, provided they do not extend. Sorry, option 1. They decided. I apologize. Sorry about that. Option 1, and so the reason for the option 1 is because then it doesn't negatively impact neighbor properties, so they're not, their front yard isn't a side fence. So, sorry, apologies for that. It was a few months ago. So, provided they do not extend beyond the front building line of the property in which they're placed and located, 1/2 feet inside the side street lot line, a non-site obscuring. Maybe installed there. Actually, sorry. No,
Take your time.
I've got a final answer. They did go with option 2.
Okay.
I apologize. They're very similarly worded up until that part about the adjacent property, so I apologize. So, front building line of the property it's placed on, not the adjacent property. So it would allow that. So in the concession of having that to the side, they also wanted to require driveway clear vision. So instead of just from an intersection, it would also be from the driveway so that a fence could not be right against the neighbor's driveway so that if a pedestrian was walking on the sidewalk, they wouldn't be visible from a car backing out. So, again, it would read that privacy screens on residentially zoned or used corner lots are permitted, provided they do not extend beyond the front building line of the property in which they are placed and are located within 1.5 feet inside the side street lot line. A non-site obscuring fence of not more than 4 feet in height is also permitted, provided they do not extend beyond the front building line of the property in which they are placed and located within 1.5 feet inside the side street lot line. So that's just ensuring that we're still allowing those non-site obscuring fences. No fence may be installed in the area at the intersection of a driveway and the right-of-way measured 7.5 feet on both the driveway and the street along the lot line. So there's also a diagram there of what that would look like. We're also recommending to just delete section 9.5B as it also limits, it's specifically limiting privacy screens on corner lot fences. Not included in the packet, it was also brought to my attention that we should also probably delete references to the Fence Review Committee as it's not in effect, hasn't been for a while, and that would be the entirety of section 9.9. So sorry about the confusion on which direction Planning Commission went, but happy to answer any questions. I think tonight what we're looking for is kind of council's, council to motion to for the attorney to put this in ordinance form to return at the next meeting for adoption or approval.
Okay. We've got a couple of questions. First, from Councilmember Shornack.
Lauren, so anybody who right now does not fit into this pretty little box that we're creating, they're not going to have to readjust it? I mean, because I know there are corner lots that are not into this, so I'm sure they probably, well, at least I hope, they came to the building and got an approval to put up the fence, but we're not going to make people move fences, correct? So anybody whose fence do not fall into these parameters, they will be grandfathered?
Yeah, so this isn't impacting any of the nonconformity. So, nonconforming fences do not have to conform with an adopted.
Okay, just want to make sure, because I don't want anybody calling us being like, hey, I've had this fence up for 20 years, I'm not tearing it down.
Lawful, non-conforming, right? Lawful. We got to put, the lawyer has to add the word lawful,
The
non-conforming.
lawyer told me that nonconforming is lawful, and you'd have to say unlawfully nonconforming.
Well, then, Don, if it's a fence that like has been up for, let's say a decade or something, and maybe at that time, because sometimes records apparently get lost around anywhere, and they had gotten an approval to put up the fence, we're not going to make them tear it down now and be like, oh, no, you have to move your fence back by like 5-10 feet or something like that, correct?
The lawyer answer is, we will evaluate each on its own merits, and assuming that everything appears to be in good order and it was some sort of lost paperwork issue, then of course, I mean, it'd be documented that fence can remain as grandfathered in and permitted. It wouldn't even be grandfathered in, it's just permitted because
Right.
it was allowed back then. The grandfathering question here, I think, relates more to if somebody put a fence somewhere that doesn't meet this standard, this new standard, right? If they were approved back then properly through the channels, then it would be considered lawful non-conforming. It could stay no matter what this change looks like. But if it wasn't, then obviously the city would reach out and say, hey, we've relaxed the standards, but you still have to meet those. And that would be the next step.
Oh, I can see this being very problematic for some people. Because, and not anybody, like, obviously, we're just putting this, I would think that anybody whose fences are up prior to this being approved should be grandfathered. I don't think we should give that kind of a hardship to somebody to move their fence line that has been there and obviously not caused a problem for whatever duration of time. You guys are going to get some pushback on that one. I mean, I'm not a corner lot, so this does not affect me in any way, shape, or form. I can just see this is going to be a problem.
I think it's a concern for any time any ordinance is changed, but I don't
Right.
think it should be a reason to not change or move forward.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we should then have something there saying if it was up there prior to this being adopted is kind of like an addendum, if you would.
If it was legal, i.e. they followed
Well-
the process to get up. If they were illegal with the fence and got away with it, I wouldn't excuse it.
Right, but you, as I know, that there has been, I know of at least 7 people that had come up here, and this is like, decades ago, and been like, okay, and they got clearance from the city.
Then,
But-
yeah.
But then when you come back up here, decades later, everybody's like, well, I don't know. Not your fault, Bob, but it's happened. So that's my concern, and I just don't want to.
I see what you're saying.
I
Goes
don't want to.
very icy.
Exactly. Paperwork gets lost everywhere, all the time. It is just a thing, even if it's electronic. So that's my concern. I'm concerned that we are going to have, and probably only be a handful of people, but I don't want to impede them financially to have to move a fence that they, in good faith, put there with the blessing of the city at the time. And
They
now all of
already
a
have
sudden,
that problem anyway, whether we change the ordinance or not, because they're non-conforming. This is a less restrictive, right? So
Yeah.
this is better for them.
No,
If
I know this would
The
help
fence is
more people who
non-conforming,
didn't do it the right way. I get that too. I'm just saying, I can see where this would be
Yeah.
problematic.
I'm going to go to Mayor Pro Tem Odell, but back when I was on the ZBA a couple years ago, people had to apply for a variance to put a side lot or a fence on their corner lot, correct? In some circumstances.
Yeah, in some circumstances.
So this was,
They'd have a
the
reason.
goal of this was to rewrite the ordinance so that people wouldn't have to get that variance because we were frequently granting those something similar to this.
Correct.
Okay, so the idea is to cut some red tape, not create more of it. So
I'm
Mayor
aware
Pro
what the
Tem-
intent is.
Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
Intent always doesn't follow the
I
truth.
got two areas of concern. So in line with that, if somebody's grandfathered in, it was approved, even though it wouldn't fit today's variance, let's say they have a privacy fence around a pool, but now, let's say they have to replace their fence, can they replace their fence under the old approved guidelines, or do they have to conform to this new guideline that we're looking at? So, it was put up, it wouldn't fly today, but let's say it's wood and it rotted and they need to replace the fence. Can they replace it as it was previously approved, even though it wouldn't follow the new
And
standard?
I guess if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is if it is legally non-conforming, as long as, well, it's a 50%, right?
50% reconstruction rule is what's coming to my mind.
Right, so if you're replacing 100% of it, then no, it would have to conform with the new ordinance. If you're replacing 50% or less, then our nonconformities allow for it to be maintained or,
You could only replace the fence half of the time, or,
I think it's more to say you should be keeping up on your fence, not waiting until it's completely dilapidated
but-
and then being like, whoopsie, okay, I'm just going to go with what I had before.
wood rots over time. If somebody has an let's say they've got a pool in their backyard and now they would have to dig up their pool to replace the fence because it doesn't meet the new ordinance.
This isn't
if
about
it-
around pools. This is about around the lot, the way it's set in the corner lots.
Right, but if it's for a corner lot, you're just talking about the right of way by the corner, or
Two frontages, right, Lauren? Is that what?
that's typically, yeah, where people.
Two frontages.
want
I
to
don't think
put
you'd have a
their
pool fronting a road probably on a corner lot, would you?
just depends which
But I
way
understand the
they-
hypothetical. And so
Yeah.
my response to that would be, the 50% rule kind of governs for nonconformities, where if more than 50% of it is damaged, destroyed in a fire, you've got to replace more than 50, you're not supposed to be allowed to keep a nonconformity because the law discourages nonconformities, right? We want to bring everybody into compliance with code. That being said, if they have a variance or if it's lawful because of some other reason that was granted and the conditions haven't changed, then in my opinion, that would be allowed to be rebuilt because the variance runs with the land. So it's just a question of how did it get there? And I don't know how many of those situations we'd run into.
Probably not very many, but I'm just thinking
Well,
outside the box here, so.
For like example, when I redid and I took all the walls down in my main floor, and I had to have them, then even though we didn't touch my upstairs, they made me put stupid smoke alarms in every single room, which is overkill, by the way. And they're all connected. So if one goes off, the whole entire house goes off. It's insane. But even though we didn't touch upstairs, we did nothing upstairs, they made me conform to whatever they plan now. So whenever you do that, they make you conform regardless. So that's why that rule stands, the 50-50 rule.
All right. We've got some other lights on here. I'd like to move on.
I got one
Sure,
other.
go ahead.
So this is only for privacy fences, 6 foot. If they want to do the chain link, they can go by the traditional rules that are in place now, correct? As long as it's not obstructing the view on the corner lot.
Yeah, so currently, we do allow that 4-foot chain link. Most people don't want that, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You all set?
Yep.
All right, Councilmember Baranski.
Okay, so I need to clarify, or I'm not following. So they're recommending the red in your option 1, option 2? Not the blue?
Blue.
They're recommending the blue.
Blue.
Option 2.
Option 2 is red.
Option 2 is red. Option 1 is blue, which is why I'm asking what color.
I'm so sorry about the
Oh, and it's
confusion on
not,
the
because
options.
I'm just trying to read myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's.
Yeah, and I keep flipping them, and that's my bad. It's the option 1, so it's the blue, so it's extending past the front of the adjacent.
So therefore, it allows it to go all the way.
All the
out.
way, utilize essentially more of the yard.
Okay, because I was like, option red is very restrictive still, so I wanted to make sure. So in other words, in your photo diagrams, the first 2 photos would be allowed.
Yes, and you can see,
Yes.
on the, it's more clear on the second photo, how it's kind of going onto into the neighbors. And some of them situated like that, the garage is on the other side, that's why that driveway provision was added.
Okay, then I'm comfortable with
Okay.
blue option 1.
Sorry.
No,
I
it's
should have
all right.
gone by colors, then it would have been
I'm
easier.
I'm
as well.
definitely comfortable with the blue.
Councilman Perry, you were all set?
Yeah, I was asking the same question because the red option seems very limiting. And besides that, there's no restriction on, if I was to plant, let's just say I live in the house on the corner here on the left picture. I can plant a row of arborvitaes on that blue line, can I not? The city can't tell me I can't plant privacy screening. Don, am I right?
There's a height limit that it,
That answer is going
Required.
to be very fascinating for all of you. Many years ago, we had a resident who did exactly that. And the city asked that we enforce the fence ordinance because she had essentially created a tree fence, not permitted. And she was told by the judge that she had to take it down.
Really?
A tree fence is just a way of getting around the fence rules, and that was what the rule was back then. Are there other ways you could stagger trees so that it's not a site-obscuring fencing type of thing? Probably. But that particular case has always stuck with me, that you know, it was trying to get around the fence rules by using arborvitaes instead of actual fencing
Yep.
material. So you could not do it.
Okay. Councilmember Higgins.
I was going to ask the same question. I actually preferred the blue one. I thought that was it. So they recommending option 2, the red one, the more space.
no, they're blue.
One is
blue
more space,
one,
yep, sorry.
and next time I'm here, I will talk in colors.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm doing it myself. So okay.
And have pictures on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. I have a question. For the city attorney, what was the motion? Well, you actually said what was the motion we would make, because I don't think that's the motion
Yeah, I
that's
don't think it's correct in
recommended.
Correct. Yeah, the motion, I think, for tonight would just be to direct administration to prepare an ordinance consistent with the proposal from the planner this evening.
Say that one
So
more.
moved.
Motion to direct administration
Second.
to prepare an ordinance consistent with the recommendation of the city planner this evening.
Okay, and you.
I did.
And I seconded.
We have a motion by Councilmember Baranski and a second by Councilmember Shornack. Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this motion? All right, I won't repeat it, but I assume that we have it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
All right, item 8B, OPEB actuarial services proposal. City Manager Levin.
Thank you. So for a number of years, we have worked with Gabriel Roeder Smith for our actuarial reports. These are reports that provide us information detailing our other post-employment benefits. These are required so that we can get this information for our budget and for state reporting. So we have a proposal here from Gabriel Roeder Smith for doing the actuarial valuation, which is a report that we do every 3 years. So this is the year that it is due. And then also for doing our Gatsby statements, 74 and 75 for the next 2 years. So you have the proposal in there and just looking for a motion to approve that.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Shornack.
Motion to approve. the
Second.
Proposal for, okay, do you want me to read the whole thing?
Could you read it into the record?
Yes. Proposal for GRS to perform actuarial valuation and prepare the Gatsby statements, number 74 and 75 reports for the periods ending in June 30th, 2026 to June 30th, excuse me, 2027. For the total cost of $31,800 to be paid in financial fiscal year 26-27, with the remaining $10,200 to be paid in the fiscal year of 27-28.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilmember Shornack, seconded by Councilmember Baranski. And I won't repeat the motion, but any questions from council? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 8C, Water Meter Replacement Program.
We have got Ashley, our consultant here from AEW, to present this to you.
Good evening, Ashley.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashley Carpenter with AEW, city engineer. The first item that I have is for the water meter replacement program. Currently, there are several different types and brands of water meters that are in service in the city. Many past their useful service life, many with unknown installation years. Most are also assumed to be original. When the water meter is past its useful service life, the full usage read is usually not logged fully, resulting in a loss of payment to the city, and there also is a larger tendency for that meter to leak. So the DPW, recognizing this, is proposing to undertake a 10-year replacement program, so this fiscal year being the first year of that program. Currently, there's $300,000 budgeted in this fiscal year to get the program started. And earlier, Rob did mention there's also $16,000 budgeted for software related to those meters, so a total of $316,000 is budgeted, not $300,000. Is also the intention of the DPW to request a similar amount to be budgeted each fiscal year for the next 9 years to complete the entire program, which would replace every water meter in the city. AEW has assisted other communities nearby with efforts of soliciting qualification packages and bids related to the installation and procurement of water meters, and also has prepared contracts for those services. We are requesting that City Council approve the AEW proposal to prepare a request for qualifications and quotes for the water meter replacement program, which would include the procurement of meters and also the installation. We would then present those proposals to a committee, we would review them, and then ultimately a recommendation would be brought back to council for consideration of award of a contract. So we are requesting that the EW proposal be approved in the amount of $6,800.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there a plan on what you would start with?
It would be the larger meters, so mostly like industrial, your largest users.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
So is the engineering services, is this for the full 10-year program that we're looking at? Or are you guys engineering, laying it out for 10 years, or are we going to have to come back every year and pay?
This would strictly be only for the bid package, and then our assistance in reviewing those packages, and assisting with any interviews that are performed of the contractors, and then writing with assisting DPW the letter of recommendation. So it would not account for any services beyond that. But typically, once these do kind of take off, our involvement is somewhat limited. It's usually held by the DPW after that.
So you guys are gonna come up with a plan, get bids, and then, but the bids will have to reviewed year after year, obviously, depending on what they're.
So this would be a 10-year program with the same,
Vendor.
but yes, vendor. It would not
Okay,
be.
so we're looking for a long-term contract.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the engineering services for the water meter replacement program with AEW in the amount of $6,800.
Seconded.
Okay. Any other questions from council regarding this proposal? Councilmember Higgins.
So the 316,000 all in, including the software, is that going to come out of the water and sewer fund, or is this an additional, like a budget amendment situation in the future?
Nope, it's currently budgeted and planned in the water.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions from council? Anyone from the audience like to speak on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, item 8D, 2526, water main replacement.
All right, this item is for.
Ashley, could you move that microphone just a little closer? Well, so we can, that thing's very sensitive.
Is that better? Okay.
Perfect.
Right. The city has previously approved design and engineering services for AEW for the 4 water main segments that are listed: Summer Lane North and South, Renetta, Schoolcraft, and Elodie. This was originally planned for fiscal year 24 design and construction in 25-26. The design was put on hold due to budget constraints, which were found during the initial design. The water main on some streets is directly below the storm sewer, so it would have greatly increased the cost of construction. And then with the current construction that was occurring last year, we were waiting for the budget analysis with the water model to determine if we should move forward with design. During that time frame, we looked at a more holistic approach of including roadway resurfacing and storm sewer design, factored into the water mains as well. So we are now asking for a proposal to restart the design services for Renetta, Schoolcraft, and Elodie, pushing Summer Lane North and South to the next fiscal year of 27-28, and then also adding in Linden Avenue due to the amount of breaks that have occurred recently and historically. This would include considering televising all of the existing storm sewer, most of which is corrugated metal pipe, so it's extremely old and most likely fragile as well. This would include storm sewer replacement in all of those areas, along with asphalt resurfacing and also resurfacing Cyril, which would have some storm sewer as well, but no water main on Cyril. So we are requesting that City Council approve the design engineering services for these segments to allow the preliminary engineering work to begin. We would then bring the better construction estimates, and then also we would not publicly bid anything until the budget is approved adopting these projects. And also in the budget impact and also in the additional information, I laid out when the expected costs will occur. And these are estimates assuming design milestones are hit along with construction milestones as well.
Question. Linden would be moved up because of the,
Correct. Linden would be moved up due to the breaks, yes.
did I read correctly that there have been 20 water main breaks along that 1,000-foot section, and they're accelerating again?
I did look today, there's 16 that are logged on the GIS platform with the city on Linden, and that's a 950-foot stretch of road, so a lot.
That's a lot, yes. That's almost like 1 every 50 feet, if you averaged them. All right. And then Cyril already had a water main replacement, if I'm correct.
Correct. Cyril was, our records show 2006.
All right. I would like to make a motion to approve the design engineering services for the 2025-2026 water main replacement project with AEW in accordance with the standing agreement between AEW and the City of Fraser.
I second it.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from council regarding this project? And these would be happening in '26, or would they happening in fiscal year '26, '27?
They would likely start construction fiscal year 26, 27. So looking maybe at like a, if we could, August, like a fall start or early next year, calendar year.
I have a unnamed light. I assume that's the city manager. Okay.
Yeah, just one item to note. She put in their required budget amendment for this. I did speak to Rob about the budget. We are in a good position now. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, it may require us to do a budget amendment, adding this additional cost that was unplanned. Because of some other things that have come in a little bit lower in costs, we may not need to do that.
Okay, so we'll handle that if we need it at the time.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from council or comments? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we're getting water mains. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, items 8E, clarification regarding Council Rule 7.12, electronic and telephone communication during session. City Manager Levin.
So in the council rules, there is a rule 7.12 that restricts the usage of council members using telephone communications during session. I understand that in the days of COVID, those rules were loosened up and never found any type of ending to that. So we're just looking for some clarification and really just reiterating that that rule is still in effect.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm the City Council Rule 712 regarding electronic and telephone communication during session is in effect.
Second.
All right, we have motion and second. Councilmember Baranski.
Okay, so first of all, this rule as written means we can't look at our laptops. We can't look at emails that we receive, including the agenda. Are you guys aware of that?
Well, from the description, it makes it sound like we can't communicate with each other.
No, the rule says, while council is in session, councilpersons shall not send or review electronic communications relating to city business from other city council members, staff, or the public at large. And when you look up the definition of electronic communication, it includes emails, text messages, social media, and video calls. And that's why we should talk about a rule before we just rubber stamp a rule. And just so the record's clear, we had an awesome conversation about it. And I didn't mean to come off so hostile, but I'm just like, we're jamming. So I wanted to have a conversation before we had a motion in a second.
I
Because
apologize.
if we want to have a rule, let's have a rule. But I didn't realize until I read the rule how prohibitive it is.
I didn't.
Which means we're going back to
interpret it
paper and
that
pen.
way.
Right.
So,
But whoever looked up, the rule was actually implemented in February of 2021. So to amend or to
Set aside.
suspend, right, this rule. But we had a workshop session, and so when I went back and looked at the rule, it does actually sunset, because our city attorney did a great job of saying, hey, what does it say? And it actually says something about, what do we call those meetings? Virtual meetings. So we should address this, because I think by its definition, that motion did sunset. But this rule itself, as I sit here and read it, I would never agree to this motion, because I can't go back and look at what a resident sent to me and read it into the record, because it would violate this rule. I don't think we need a rule. I think that rule had a great intention at the time. I think that everyone here is professional and is an adult, and I don't see a risk that requires, especially when there's already a restriction or an out that, emergencies or non-city business. So I can use my phone all day long, right? The more you put in a rule, and then there's also no consequences. So what if we do it? So if we're going to have a rule, there should be a consequence. And if we're going to have a rule, it should be a very specific and targeted rule. So I would actually make a different motion, but we'll have to vote on the motion that's pending on the table. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. Councilmember Shornack.
Well, I concur with you on that, but my point is this, is since we don't get a lot of deliberation and able to have conversations with each other, which we should be able to because we are a deliberating board, but that is often limited. So if that's the case, I believe it was, I know I don't have the rule off the top of my head, but in that case, there's nothing that prohibits me from getting up and going over and having a conversation with Mrs. Baranski in the middle of a meeting because I want to get her feeling on something or her opinion. So if we're going to put any kind of stipulation on phone texting or something like, I'm like, no, I don't agree with that, blah, 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 where we can't have an open dialect because it's often squashed, then I'm going to get up in the middle of a meeting and I'm going to walk over and say, okay, well, what do you feel about blah, 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 if we're not going to be able to have an open dialect if we can't text each other, if we want to, or if we want to get their opinion on something.
I mean, if you wanted to talk to her about something, shouldn't you have done it ahead of the bit? My thing is I understand utilizing it for this. I don't think if we're going to talk about stuff, I think we should be talking about stuff out here, you know what I mean?
That would be fine.
You know, and I get
doesn't
that, I'm
happen.
gonna say 100%. So if there was some sort of rule, which I could totally get, to say, okay, you don't want you just sit fiddling. Again, we're adults, we should be able to do this without that. But if we do want a rule, I get that, but I 100% think we should be able to access our email, because it makes it so much easier to look over all of our material. I mean, like, you imagine the trees, for Christ's sake.
Okay.
So I actually rescind my motion then.
I'll rescind the second.
All right, Councilmember Higgins.
Yeah, no, when I look at this, I think the word that stands out to me, and that I do think there is a problem with, is the word review. Because I don't have a problem with having a rule, but we should be able to look at our agendas, we should be able to look at residents' emails. I think if this is going to proceed further, I think we need to maybe entertain a motion to strike the word review from this motion, right? Because that way we'll be able to review emails, we'll review feedback from residents, review the agenda. I do think it makes sense to have a rule on sending stuff, because we're not supposed to. My understanding is it's kind of an Open Meeting Act violation anyways, right? This question to Don, right? If we're
Not if you're not
the whole
deliberating
point
with,
is, I understand.
if you're only deliberating with one person, it's not.
It's not a direct violation of the Open Meetings Act, but it's that appearance, right? So
Right.
the public is watching public business being conducted.
Exactly.
And it always will raise the question of what business was being conducted on the sidelines.
Right.
Right, that we didn't get to watch. And to the point about, in the old days, before this technology, one of us would get up and go talk to the other. I mean, that was very common.
Right.
Right? Patrice gets up and talks to Crystal, or Patrice gets up and comes over here and whispers in my ear because she has a question, but it's a question maybe that she wants answered before she raises it for the group, right?
Right.
That was very common. We don't do that anymore as much, but I don't know if that's a function of technology or we just don't need to anymore. So I guess the answer to your question is, not a direct Open Meetings Act violation, but it can start to take on that appearance of impropriety.
Yeah.
In terms of, is this council person being fed information? Is this council person being manipulated? Is this council person being, asking for how they should act in real time? And that does have an appearance.
And at least when you're going over and talking to somebody, the public can see that.
Yes.
The idea is that here you're sending a bunch of stuff, the public's not privy to what's going on. They can't even see that conversation is happening.
That's right.
When you're talking, they can't hear what's happening in the conversation, but they can see.
Let's be honest. If they get the sense you're doing that, you're
Yeah.
inviting FOIA requests.
Right. So I do think there's a problem with the word review in here, but I don't think a rule is a bad thing to have.
And maybe we should not have so restrictive when we're trying to have collaboration.
Councilmember Perry.
I'm just going to get down to the basis of it. I'm being honest here, straightforward with you guys. What is this trying to prevent? Like, exactly, why was this put into motion at all? Why are we discussing this? Like when you mentioned it, I could be sending 1,000 texts right now, nobody's going to know. So why are we doing this?
That's a good question.
I know Don just explained, open meetings violations and the perception, but
Why did we do it? I'm the one that actually put this forward in 2016.
okay.
And the whole goal is that while we're up here, the seven of us, we are deliberating together, and that we aren't communicating with members of the audience or people watching on TV.
Yep.
And we're not texting with each other. Every conversation we have should, right here, while we're in session, between the gavels, as I call it, should be open to all of us. And so back then, idea was that there might be somebody up here receiving a text message from someone that had an interest in whatever we were discussing, and that they would then share that information, or they could be swayed by it. As far as when the rule was created, if it was poorly, if we could rewrite some of the language, reviewing an email that you received before the meeting is fine. If you're receiving an email during the meeting, that's no different than a text message.
But how are you going to parse that? Like, I can't help if I get an email in the middle of the meeting from someone from, you know what I mean? If someone from, say, the Mulvey Path, right now, if I receive an email, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? So it's going to, that's just a real question, though. You can't really enforce that. And I get the thought behind it, but it's not fair.
Well-
It doesn't make sense.
It was actually because of a specific mayor at that time.
Well, we're not, no, it's a rule that there's many places that have this rule. This is not just specific to Fraser.
But,
And,
well,
yeah, but you were actually talking. So.
let's say I get a message. You guys are immune to that. Immune to that. It's on me. So if someone FOIAs my correspondence, you guys are 6 other individuals. I'm in the one in trouble. So I don't know how, like everybody has mentioned, how you're going to enforce this, and then how it affects the rest of you if a handful of us are doing it, or, well, we're all.
Well, how does it affect us? It could affect the decision. There could be and the answer, because I was the one that put this forth in 2016, so I'm very aware of it. And the idea is that while we're talking, we should prepare before the meeting. We should come to the meeting. We should deliberate and decide. And we really don't, and any information that's provided should be provided by those 3 people or the audience that comes and speaks to us. We don't have, back then, back in the mid-2000s or 2010s, we were talking about virtual meetings. And one of the things we could never get past was, how do we know who really is on the other end of that communication? If they popped in and they didn't turn their camera on, which cameras weren't even a huge thing then. So you could speak, but how do we know who that person is? And so the idea is, during the meetings, we are here doing our job, and then any information that you receive beforehand, fine. But if you're receiving an email in the middle of something, you may change your mind because you got something from the public. That should happen before the meeting or after, but not during. So,
But I think the problem is if I have my computer up here, how are you going to prove that I don't have my email up? Because if I'm pulling
I'm not the cop on this.
Well,
We're all self.
But that's the thing is, like, again, if it's a rule put in place, is it just an honorary rule then? Because if I'm pulling up my email and for instance, today, literally, my computer's slow as crap. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm in my email in the middle of the meeting because I'm trying to pull it up. You know what I mean? Like, these are little nuances, but it's reality, and if you're going to say, I just see this causing issues if there's no accountability, and again, if we're going to take it there, it could get, well, that person's doing it, and why are they getting treated like this? It just,
So what would you,
like, there just has to be like a full circle. Like, if there's going to be a rule, there needs to be, consequences and whatnot for it.
we've got some more lights here, and Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
My concern is just the transparency of it. I mean, reviewing materials, I have my phone, I'm reviewing agenda items because I don't want to print out a gazillion pieces of paper to bring that we might spend 5 minutes on. But I don't have a problem with people having that information. But I do not like, during a meeting, texting back and forth. I don't think it's very transparent. I just think it looks bad. And I think it's, how do we want to operate our meetings? Do we want to be open and transparent as much as possible, that we're engaging the public? If the public wants to come speak or prepare on topic, send it to us before the meeting, or come to the meeting. But in real time, we shouldn't be, I think the council's focus should be on what's at hand, not side conversations, not side items going back and forth. So, I mean, for me, it's just, I think it's transparency issue and trust in the in our population that we're doing everything on the up and up, and like you say, appearance is everything. Sometimes if it looks like you're doing side things, it raises questions. So I'd rather be avoiding that as much as possible. So reviewing materials good. Side conversations, I think, are a bad precedent.
Okay, we have 3 more lights, and I think did you speak already?
I put mine after.
Okay, Councilmember Bransky.
Okay, so just to kind of address, this is where I love collaborative versus soliloquies. So when I'm here, if something is going on, I do send to a resident. If I'm like, oh, I never sent back to them, like, got your email, so that would be a violation if we can't send something. Just, I'm giving you examples of what I have done, not realizing I was violating the rule. Again, no consequences. Again, not a FOIA or a Open Meetings Act violation, only a violation of this rule as it was written, or as it is written. And to me, that's not being transparent. Being transparent to me is, if information comes in the middle of a meeting because they couldn't come, I want to receive it before I have my vote. I do not want to have a vote and then find out, oh my gosh, I got 32 emails about the Mulvey path, but because I didn't look at my email before the meeting, for whatever reason, I wasn't aware of it. And so now the next meeting, I have to bring it up again. That is the antithesis of transparency, functionality, the reason I'm here. I am here for 1 meeting a month, and I want to be streamlined. And as much as ideally we want to be prepared ahead of time, things come up. And that's, I think, where the issue is, right? Like 90% of the things, and I don't text back and forth about whatever. I do wish we could all talk. I don't like the formality of the meeting, but I do get that I talk over people, so I get that you got to just, Dana did a really good job of, tapping me down. But I don't think this rule, as it's drafted, is needed, and I don't think it achieves the goal you want. And unless the goal is for us to just literally have everything pre-planned, and if you haven't discussed it ahead of time, too bad, and it's a 15-minute meeting, which I'm all for, but that's the exact opposite of what we give our residents. If we want a 15-minute meeting, it's roll call, 1, yes, no, 2, yes, no, 3, yes, no, 4, yes, no, done. No conversation, because we all talked individually prior to the meeting. So those are, and I'm okay to change my mind in the middle of a meeting. That's why we want citizen participation, because there's a lot of times I didn't take into account something. Those are my thoughts.
Okay. Councilmember Shornack.
Well, I find it ironic, and because you guys did it, I'm going to say it. The word transparent apparently in the world today means brick wall, because give me a break. Why is everybody going to use that buzzword? Because you know what? Here's the thing. I'm an honest person, and if I want to look at my phone in this meeting because my granddaughter's texting me something and I need to answer her something, or somebody's like, I'm getting a work thing that I've got to answer like right now, I'm going to answer it. And because we are so limited, because we want to use the buttons all the time, and we want to be like, oh, we got to follow all these rules all the time. The rules are suggestions. They are not hardcore wired. And if we can't be more collaborative and have conversations that we want to have without having to push a button and wait whatever time while we're waiting for each other, that does not make an even flow. And honestly, I'm not a kindergartner. I don't need to be told that, oh no, you can't look at your phone. What happens if somebody in my family has an emergency? I got news for you. I want to know, and I'm going to end up leaving a meeting for it. Now, thank God that has not happened, but it has happened in the past for someone who's had an emergency. And if we're all supposed to be like, okay, there was a rule that like, leave your phone there, don't look at it if it buzzes or something, and somebody missed somebody who had a heart attack one time, and they didn't find out until after that their loved one had a heart attack. And I'm sorry, but no, I'm an adult. I'm going to look at my phone. I'm not collaborating in the sense of anything, and anybody can FOIA my stuff at any time. I am an open book. Everybody who knows me knows I am. I don't pull punches. I don't care about the politics of the nonsense. I think this is juvenile. I know why you made the rule at the time, and that was because of the deliberation was being sent from another party, and I understand that. But I don't think this group has that problem. I don't think the last group had that problem, and I just think this is absolutely silly.
Thank you. Councilmember Higgins.
Well, the rule does say that you can look at your phone if it's an emergency communication.
But how do you know if you
Anything
don't have it
other-
up all the time?
Anything other than city, you can look at your phone. What I'm saying is that I think the problem with this is the word review. Right? Or it should just be council members, persons should not send electronic communications relating to city business from other council members, staff, or public at large. The problem that we're trying to solve, or this rule was, I think, intended to solve originally, was that two people during a meeting texting about how they were going to vote, or not privy to the public eye. Because you and Patrice can go back, we're all hearing how you guys feel about this rule right now. But if we were having this conversation and people weren't talking, and expressing how they feel about a given item on the agenda, and you guys were just texting, you could affect the outcome of the vote by deciding, like, hey, we're gonna act as a unit, how are you voting on this? I'm voting this way. How are you voting?
Never been a text.
No, I don't think it has. But
Never.
that's the intent of the rule, right? Like, that's clearly the intent, is to preserve the public's ability to see what is going on and to prevent members of council from deliberating with other members during a meeting outside the public eye. So I think
That's basically saying that somebody is not ethical.
I don't think that applies to any of us. I don't think we're going to have the problem. But that's why the rule was set up, right? Like, clearly you alluded to, there was a
Why
mayor.
can't we do that, though? I'm not opposed to it, the theory. But
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal about doing that. It was done clearly ahead of time. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here that you made a motion and it was seconded immediately with no conversation. There was clearly conversation about it ahead of time, which is fine, and it's fine. What's wrong with that?
I think it does open the can of worms that you be FOIA'd, right?
Okay,
You could be
so what?
FOIA'd, and we could create a lot of work for Augie, the clerk. A lot of FOIAs coming his way, maybe.
Also, there's a cost that they would have to incur, but keep
Yeah.
going. So what's the risk? What's the downside?
The downside is the public, like, the downside is that there could be two people up here who are always on their phones and are clearly texting
Right.
each other, which I don't think is the case.
Right.
But for example, like, this is why the rule
So
was.
we're making a rule for a council that doesn't exist currently.
Well, the rule does
Correct, 'cause
exist.
there are lots of rules.
Well, we're
That are-
reaffirming a rule.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you know what? I'll make it really clear, because you withdrew your motion, is that correct?
Yeah, I had already withdrawn my motion.
I'm going to make a motion that we, no, because this rule is in effect, I believe, based upon the prior motion that is not worded the greatest, because I think it did grandfather out. So I'm going to make a motion that we rescind Rule 7.12.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a light from Councilmember Fletcher.
I just wanted to make note that there was no early conversation about that. I do understand if people do want to talk ahead of time. Quite frankly, literally, it was my interpretation of the wording. So, and once you actually brought that up, then my brain went bing, bing, bing. So that was a big, so thank you. But that 100% wasn't, not that, again, there is anything wrong if you're having one-on-one conversations with each other, but I just want to clarify that there wasn't some consensus going on. The way I had read it, I just had read it differently. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to rescind Council Rule 7.12. That was
As drafted.
Motion by Councilmember Baranski, seconded by Councilmember Shornack. What I would say is, this rule was created to avoid problems and just to clear up some understanding of what a public meeting is, which I agree with Councilmember Higgins that the idea is transparency. While we're in this room, I understand you don't like that word,
It just doesn't mean what it means.
Well,
The
okay,
definition's changed.
okay. I just believe that while we're here, we can focus. We have, 3 hours a month we're here? If we're not on our phones, if we're not, and 10 years ago when this rule was made, phones were not, we weren't as addicted to phones as we are now. We did have electronic devices. We had laptops. We had tablets. The council was provided Apple iPads.
Some people.
So we were using that for agendas and things like that. It was the receiving and sending of messaging during a meeting. That was the issue, was not the reviewing of the agenda on your phone or anything like that. And no one's here is using it for this. I just wanted to reaffirm that this motion never actually disappeared. And so if you want to if we do have a motion on the floor to rescind it, any member of the audience would like to speak on this? All right, I'm going to, pardon me?
I said they're riveted.
All right, I guess we'll just say, all in favor, say aye to rescind motion 7.12. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. No. Can I get a roll call? I'm not sure.
Baranski.
Yes.
Fletcher.
Yes.
Higgins.
No.
Lesich.
No.
Odell.
No.
Perry.
Yes.
Shornack
Yes.
is rescinded.
Okay, so the motion is rescinded, and you can all use your phones. Yeah, all right, let's go on to the next thing. Item 8F, adoption of 2024
You
international
can also use your
property.
laptops and look at whatever you're looking at that's city business, just so you guys know.
All right, item 8F, adoption of 2024 international property maintenance code.
So I've had conversations with Bob Logan, our building department manager, and also with the attorney. This, at this point, is really just kind of a preliminary because they're, much like the planning commission fence item, would require an actual ordinance to be brought before you. I know that they are looking to update the property maintenance code to something at least in this century. I provided you with a copy of the maintenance code, and they had an opportunity to go through and highlight and make notes on some of these sections of information that has been changing throughout the years. In conversations with the attorney, there are some potential pitfalls with this version, the 2024 version, that may require a little bit more review. I believe Sterling Heights has adopted the 2015. So we have a couple options to consider moving forward. But at this point, I think looking to see the interest of council and what your thoughts are on actually updating and going through this process to do a little bit deeper review for the property maintenance code.
Mr. Logan, would you like to tell us why you're here?
Yes, I am here to talk about updating our international property maintenance codes. Right now, we are on the 2000 property maintenance codes, and I would like to bring it up to at least a 15, if not higher. There's quite a few changes that you see in your notes there that's been highlighted and things like that, so I would like to get it moved up.
So the agenda items to adopt 2024, you said you wanted to go to at least 2015. I would have no way of knowing
Same.
which one we should use. So I would like, yes, you are the paid professional, and the attorney, the city manager, and the clerk who manages our keeper of our ordinances. What do you recommend, and so that we make the right decision that works for the city?
I would like to recommend to do the 2024. I know that's going to cost some money. I don't know. I would have to talk to Don and get some numbers together. But I do know that other communities do, they are on the 2015. So I would recommend to do the 2024. So we're not back up here in 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah, eventually, we're going to adopt the 2024. It might be 2040, but, all right.
21, 2040.
We've got a couple lights on here. Councilmember Shornack.
Well, I'm in favor of updating for certain, because we have a lot of things that are quite antiquated and really need to be brought up into this century for sure, as Don can attest. I am curious, Don, your recommendation for the 15 versus the 2024 version. And it doesn't look like we were provided the 2015 version, correct?
Correct.
I would think most of council would like to see both of them to see what it is, the variation between the two of them, and why you're recommending one over the other.
I did, when we were at our strategic meeting, I did bring it up to you all, and I didn't bring a year up, but I just thought that it would be better just to bring the 2024 up. And City Manager 11, brought to my attention yesterday that she talked to Don and that we would have to look into the 2024 because it's not up that, other cities aren't using it yet. So that's why that's not in the packet.
Okay. So again, I'm totally on board to update. I think we just need a little more information between the two and what is the issue that you wouldn't necessarily recommend 24 at this time versus 15. At least that's my opinion.
I understand. So that would be,
Because I want the latest version, because I don't want to do this like 5 million times, like, okay? But if there is a very distinct difference and there is a problem with one over the other, if you could highlight that, like, sort of like you've highlighted stuff, I read the highlighted portion, but I don't know the comparison, so it's kind of hard to draw a conclusion when you don't have all the information.
correct. But
So,
you're
yeah, if we
correct.
could get that, that'd be spectacular. Why are you
Councilman,
looking at me like that?
I think if that's a question for me or not. I'm not,
Oh,
I don't
It's
speak unless
coming.
spoken to.
It's coming.
why don't we hold off on that question? I think that's probably in the minds of a couple other people. Councilmember Fletcher.
So for the layman, what does it exactly entail when we are bringing the property maintenance code up to, 2015 versus 2024? What are we doing? Because I know, like, obviously, you're saying it's cost money and stuff, and I obviously have no idea about maintenance code. So, yeah, I just want to get an idea what
It would be just brought up to the newer codes for existence. The 2000 maintenance code, it doesn't have the carbon monoxide, is not required. In 2024, it is. So there's just many different codes that's been brought up to new codes. So a lot of them are highlighted. Sarah did go through in the morning and when compared apples to apples from a 2000 property maintenance code to 2024. That's how we got that.
You all set there? Councilmember Fletcher.
Yeah, I'm good, sorry.
Just a quick question. So you use the example of carbon monoxide detectors. So anyone renovating or doing any kind of work that would require compliance, they'd have to add that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Even with the non-owner occupied that I do also, that would be into that too. So all the non-owner occupied rentals would have to be carbon monoxide detectors in those residents too.
So by the next inspection?
Correct.
Okay, you wouldn't send out a letter and say everybody's has to do this. It would be by the next inspection?
Correct.
Okay. So there would be some cost involved to those folks?
To the residents, correct.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Odell Councilmember Bransky was next.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my question is what do we need to do legally? So this is going to be directed to you in terms of getting, whether it's the 15 or the 24, what do we have to do? How does that procedure look for us?
So, for the lay people, I really appreciated that question. Just by way of quick background, these codes are supposed to be published every 3 years by the International Code Council. They're not very good at that. They often come out very late, but they still have the year on them that corresponds with the year it was supposed to come out. So when you think about the 24 code, they're actually not too far off. I mean, it was on point. But when you look at the building code, and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, or the fire codes, though the building code in Michigan has not kept up. I think we're on 18, is that right, or 21?
21.
21. So, for the layperson, all of these codes are like puzzle pieces. They're all supposed to fit together. So when you design 24 fire, 24 building, 24 residential maintenance, residential code, international property maintenance code, all of them, right, mechanical, they're all supposed to fit together like puzzle pieces. And that's been looked at by that council. And they're supposed to make sure that section 705 carbon monoxide detection matches what's in the 2024 fire version of that and anything else, residential or anything else that might cover that topic. So I guess to answer your question, the reason we don't always move to the most current number is because it will conflict with what the state is actually doing. So for example, if we're on 21 and we adopt a 24, it's very possible that 15 sections of this could conflict with what the state is actually saying, and then we run afoul of hey, you're making me do something that statewide you're preempted from making me do because you're only on the 21. That's the problem with trying to figure out the year. So some of you will recall that, I think it was last year, we only brought the city up to the 2015 fire code, last year or 2 years ago. I worked with Sergeant Poole, we got that all updated, we got our local amendments into it, because another part for the lay people is that with these codes, other than the statewide building code, which we can't touch, these international property maintenance, international fire codes, we are allowed as a community to make local amendments to them. So for example, one fun example I always give is under property maintenance, if we're getting tired of people putting too many yard ornaments out on their front lawn, we can add a section to this that says, as part of your maintenance of your property, you're limited to 6 yard ornaments, right? Lawn ornaments, whatever we call them. So little things like that can be done with a code like this. We do have a few on the books already for the 2000 that have been amended. So one of the things I always recommend, as I did with the fire code, is we take what we've done in the past, match it up against whatever new number code we're going to go to, and say, do we still want to keep those little local amendments we did? We don't want to lose them. So if we just adopt the 24 verbatim, we're going to lose our local amendments if we don't build them in. I haven't looked at what those are. Some of them are just procedural stuff, but some might be substantive. Certainly, I think there's some definitions as well that were added in 2000, to the 2000. So, long story short, I don't know, as we sit here right now, what the right year will be. It might be the 21, might not, because we have the 15 fire code on the books. So we'd want to take a look at that for consistency with each other. And then really the biggest thing is I just worked on fire code for another community for the 24. And what we found during that project was we had to exempt 3 whole chapters. So Fire Code 24 gets adopted, but not Chapter 9, 10, and 11, because 9, 10, and 11 are going to conflict with state building code rules. But we put creative Don language in there that said, but in the event that the state ever catches up, then the 24 provision will apply, right? So that we didn't go back to the drawing board and do it all again for those 3 chapters. So those are the kinds of things we have to look at, and I have to work with Bob or whoever else would be part of that team, just to make sure we're picking the one that doesn't put us in conflict situations with the more important, relatively speaking, fire, life safety codes, to make sure that all the rules are consistent and uniform. That's a long answer to a shorter question of how do we pick what number and how do we pick what year.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
That's kind of along the lines I was thinking, is like, can we make adjustments? Can we, hey, the 24 to the 21, we like this, but we don't like this. Can we boot it out before we vote on it? Or has it got to be all or nothing? So, obviously, it's not my world, layman person, but review the 2, I guess which one makes the most sense and that'll fit, and then bring in what we've had in the past that makes sense and bring it back. That's how I view it, but as long as we can fit it and make the adjustments that we need to make, but bring it up to code, that's what I'm for, so that's it.
So where does that leave us?
Go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Need a motion for that?
It sounds like either assent or some kind of motion to direct administration to go back to prepare a property maintenance code ordinance for the council's consideration.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Okay, so so we're not adopting the 2024 property maintenance code. You're going to do an ordinance?
Correct.
Bear with me, in layman's terms.
Layman's terms, you will get whatever book we settle on, 21, 18, 24, 15. You'll get that book like you did for the 24 book, so you can kind of see what it says throughout. And then you'll get an ordinance that says, we're adopting that book, but we're not adopting Appendix B.
and C.
Okay.
Or we're changing Section 302.1. And then you can read the language that we're changing it to, either to carry forward from 2000 or because we had some new ideas. You'll get to see all of those little changes. You'll have the book, so you could compare them side by side and go, okay, I get it. I see why we want to do that or why code wants to do that. And then that'll be the ordinance in front of you, so it won't be a billion pages. It'll just be a number of pages going through the amendments that we're making to the big book.
Okay. How long will that take? I mean, are we talking 6 months?
No.
Okay.
A year?
No.
Well, the zoning ordinance is taken
Those
too.
questions, Mr. Mayor, are so complex because we could go down rabbit holes of fines and fine schedules, and if we avoid all of the rabbit holes, I would think we could bring a product to the April meeting, wouldn't you? If we can get together in the next 6 weeks.
That's fine. Perfect.
If not, May works.
In May is fine. Yeah.
All right.
You know, if you find yourself
Oh,
in a
you know,
rabbit hole or two.
The city managers advised me that's the budget meeting, so we'll avoid that meeting, and we'll
Okay, June.
look at May.
If it's not in April, June.
Have mercy.
Point is sooner than
It's
later.
a good summer project for summer maintenance, right? So.
Okay. So someone want to make that motion?
I did.
And I
You
seconded.
did. Okay. You didn't make it the way he said
I
it.
100% did.
However.
I actually said,
What he said. And I seconded.
I mean, I literally said, I will make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Baranski, seconded by Councilmember Shornack to do what he said. And anyone in the audience like to speak on this? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 8G, City Representative for Planning and Zoning Meetings. Bob, that's you again.
That's me. So it's brought to our attention that planning and zoning meetings, which happen one time a month for each planning and one for zoning, they would like to have a representative there from the building department just to answer questions or bring presence if something is brought up that they would like to know as of, different projects around the city. So I do know that I did get a price from McKenna, which I included in my Civic. They are a minimum of $400 just to show up. If they're here for 1 hour or 4 hours is $400. $100 for every additional hour after the 4.
Okay.
And then also I put in my wages there for time and a half.
Okay, so the two options are McKenna at minimum $400 for each meeting.
Correct.
And the other option is you at your hourly rate and overtime.
Correct.
Or no one.
Or no one, yes. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. I mean, when we're saying options.
That's the impetus, they requested something, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm just saying, like, the three options, we have three options.
Yes.
And nothing,
Or
correct.
some fourth person.
Yeah, and I had spoken to the chair of the Planning Commission and the ZBA about this, and they both expressed a desire that it would be helpful if someone was there that could answer questions at that time that could speed up decision-making and.
Correct.
And help them make better decisions. That's what they told me, so.
Correct.
Let's say, Councilmember Baranski, I think you were first.
Well, perfect, because it segues to what you were just saying, because I guess we haven't had a representative in the past at these meetings, right?
We did, Randy, the old building official, was there.
So that was what,
That was-
10 years ago?
yeah.
More than that, actually, like,
I don't know exactly what date.
okay, so we haven't had it in the last 10 years, in the last decade.
Right.
But, so that was going to be my question is, what questions? I get, and it's not because I'm a no, but this is a cost, right? Whatever way we go would be a cost. Convenience or information versus need, right? Need and want, keeping in mind we're coming into budget and whatever. So I guess, and I direct it both to the mayor and to you, what type of questions do they need immediate responses to? Like, are there examples like, oh, we needed to know this because then we had to backtrack and undo it because we didn't know something that you would have known immediately? Is that what we're talking about? Or is it more like, hey, what's the status of the big boy? Or what's the status of the?
Farina?
Did they give you any indication? Like, that's,
Well, I was on the ZBA for 18 months, and Councilmember Perry was on the Planning Commission for a while. And so we'll have questions, there'll be questions, and then what if we do this? Is that possible? Can it be enforced? Or, those are the kind of questions that that we had.
Right.
And then we'd have to either refer back to the city to get an answer and
Correct.
address it and delay it a month until the next meeting, or make an imperfect decision with less than desired information. That was my experience, and my experience is only 18 months on there, so I'm not an expert on all of that. But Randy did do it right up until, I think it was 2018, I think he was
I believe 18 or 19, because I started in 17, he was here.
Yep. Okay, I've got all these lights on.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I've got Councilmember Shornack. Are you done?
I'm done then.
Okay.
Yeah, you gave me what I wanted.
Councilmember Shornack.
Actually, I was just going to make the motion to have Bob go to the meetings because I have had several of those individuals that are on board, on those boards saying it would be super helpful to have that, and I think that he can answer the questions, and I don't think we need to have the expense of McKenna there. So I make a motion to have Bob go to the meetings.
Bob, are you willing to go to the meetings?
That was gonna be my question.
I'll second
Like,
that.
are you cool with it, bro?
Well, I asked you like a year or two ago, and you said yes, so I didn't think your opinion changed.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion by Shornack, second by Mayor Pro Tem Odell. We've got more lights on.
I'll take mine back.
All right, I'll go with Councilmember Higgins.
How long are the meetings typically? Just so we have an idea of the cost.
They could be anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, 4 hours.
Okay, so some lengthier ones, but mostly an hour. Sounds like
Hour to two, yeah.
hour or two.
Yeah.
Not every month.
Yeah, not every
Yeah.
month either.
I think
How many?
It just
It
depends. if they have
depends on what they
business.
get.
It could be 6 a year, you know?
Yeah, it was like 6 last year for planning, I think.
Then I think it makes sense to have somebody there. I think if it's not every month, especially.
Planning's basically every month.
It's a
Yeah, planning's pretty much.
Planning's every month, zoning, ZBA
Zoning
was
is-
when there's an application.
I think it would probably make them more effective as a board too. I think it's a great use.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, and, you know, just talking to contractors and stuff, people that want to develop in our city, we want a more speedier process. If they got questions and they want to come to you, it could delay it 2 or 3, 4 months to have, you know, commerce come into our city, provide jobs and tax revenue and things of that nature. So it's a small investment, and I'm sure there's certain meetings that they say, hey, we probably don't need you tonight, right? It's something simple or whatnot, and you don't need to show, but if, hey, well, Frank says, hey, I might have some questions for you, or some people might have some questions, can you be there? So, I mean, it's not necessarily you have to be there, but if it's anticipated that your expertise is needed to speed things along, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm all about being more efficient, and the cost of hourly and overtime is very small compared to the cost of delay in somebody taking their business to another city that's got their act together. So, thank you.
Okay. No more lights. Anyone from the audience would like to speak on this? We have an audience member that would like to speak on this. Can you come up?
Come on down, Frank.
Hi, Frank Farina. I'm on the Planning Commission. I'm the chair of the zoning board. When McKenna took over running the building department, we had a person called Sarah Trexler. She was at every meeting, and she was the building official as well as running the McKenna as our planner. And she came and we had great communications. When we went, she left, they broke the position up into a building person and a planner, and the planner went down to a part-time position. All right? Now, we've had occasions where we've asked the planner to go back and tell Bob something, and she's only here on Fridays, okay? Friday morning. Well, Bob's out on Fridays. So that delays it to the next week. We've had the things where we go out to look at properties and we find a problem, like a junkyard in the middle of Fraser, out in the road. It doesn't get resolved because it goes to this person who is our only contact at this point. And so I end up calling Bob later on, or Randy, who is the chairman of the planning commission, calls Bob, and we tie him up for that period of time, and it takes our time. So yes, it would be very helpful to have somebody there who is our liaison, who gets it directly. If you start talking about something, if Amy says something, happen. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Anyone else from the audience? All right, seeing none, the motion is to direct Bob Logan to be present at Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals meetings. City Attorney has a light on. He was,
I don't love that motion. If the motion is to direct him, then he has
I'm
no
sorry.
authority to disregard it, and nobody can
All
call
right.
him off.
okay, what would you like?
I guess it comes down to what council's wish is, but it sounds like it's a motion to authorize the attendance of Bob Logan at those meetings.
Okay,
To represent.
The logistical question I have is, in what types of who calls him off or who makes those decisions? Because it might be a meeting just about the zoning ordinance. It might be a meeting just about last year's cases. It might be a meeting with just a resident mad about a fence, right? It might, I don't know if they need him for every meeting because there are topical things going on at all times. But it would be best if this had some parameters, because I don't want him to feel he's obligated to go because you directed him, even if someone else excuses his attendance because he's not going to be needed that evening.
Point.
so could I turn that into like 17 sentences? And- So could we authorize the city manager to schedule a member of the building department at her the city manager's discretion to schedule a member of the building department to attend a Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting as necessary?
I like that for its gatekeeper function. It gives the city manager
That's
some
fine.
ability to work with them, right, to see if his attendance is needed. If there are any topical things of the day, or if there's a case that you would have input on. But at
Why
the
wouldn't
same
we
time,
do-
I'd hate to see him be there for an hour and a
Why
half.
wouldn't we,
We just change it to
Just went
in
through a lane.
consultation with the board chair. Like you just add that sentence on to what you said about the city manager.
Yeah, however, the council's, it's not a bad idea either, except that I think that we don't want to give the impression that a board chair can order.
no, I said ask.
Right, ask, but then ultimately it's still, this
Given power.
hierarchy, city manager probably still has to approve, I would think.
I like you, are you going to withdraw your motion?
I just said that I would like him to be present. I'm the one who made the first one.
I thought there was a motion and a second.
Thought I was making the motion. And
Oh, I thought you,
I made the motion.
yes, Patrice made it and there was a second.
Yeah.
You were asking me how I would rephrase
But
it.
he said he
Okay,
doesn't
well, I
like it,
started,
so are you gonna withdraw
I
it?
Well-
misphrased it, okay.
I didn't say that.
No, I know. Are you going to withdraw that motion? Because Don says you're directing him to attend.
I didn't direct him.
I did. I said the word.
I said I would like it if he would attend. That's not directing him.
Do we have a motion? What was?
So,
Let him read the motion.
there you go.
Basically, the motion was to have Bob Logan go to the ZBA.
Which is.
Okay, Ab. Fine.
So you're going to withdraw?
I will withdraw.
Okay. You're going to revise. You, Patrice.
Not me. Not me.
Don, how would you like this wordsmith? So it makes it all pretty and polished.
I like what the mayor said.
Before I can answer that question, I need to know what council wants it to be. Is it
I
a
think it-
discretionary thing? Does somebody approve the thing? Does somebody request his presence?
about
I need to know
this?
What council likes?
How about the chair of either committee would go to you and say, we would like Bob to be present at the meeting. And then you go, "Oh, God bless you. Go with God, Bob. And then Bob goes if he wants to go and if he's able to go. And you've approved it. Then everybody has their finger in the pie.
So the motion is to authorize Mr. Logan or someone in his place to attend either of the two meetings upon the request of the chair of either of those two boards, commissions, they have different names. Which
With
is
the
to be-
approval.
Which is to be submitted through the city manager for the city manager's discretionary approval. I mean, I'm getting
Yeah.
wordy,
That's
but.
way too wordy, yeah.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
way
yeah.
too wordy, but yes, that's the.
But the
that's
concept is there, right?
That is the essence of my motion, Don. Thank you.
Okay.
But that's
I'll-
for the
Thank
mayor's
you.
motion.
Thank you for the legalese.
I'll make that motion as,
Okay.
what, I thought we rescinded it.
I did, but then I just remade it, but go ahead. Whatever you're feeling.
Okay, she said it, I'll second her motion.
So wait, we're doing that really wordy motion?
The wordy
Yes,
one?
the wordy one.
Because it works? It does.
It works.
It
It covers,
accomplishes your
it
intent?
checks all the boxes. Let's go with that.
It's got the this and then the that and the.
It checks all the boxes. So you got a first and a second.
Put it in plain English.
Yeah, there you go.
Order commission chair, asks city manager, may we have Bob Logan's attendance? She authorizes it based on the agenda or the need. He then attends. We're authorizing his attendance in those situations.
Is it he
If
or
he is able to
someone?
attend.
He or someone that can serve in his stead, of course, yeah.
Recognizing that it
Are you good
would
with
be
that, Bob?
overtime.
Yes.
Correct.
But not
Bob?
McKenna.
Yeah, but it's not going to be obscene. So,
And it's controlled by the city manager. Gotta be a way for you to reword it.
Bob,
Way too wordy how you.
don't feel pressured, bro. Just, yes or no.
All right. Any member of the audience like to speak on this motion?
Frank, are you feeling good about that?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8H, fiscal year 26-27 budget schedule.
So fairly easy item to end things up here for the night. This is just to approve our budget schedule, which is consistent with what we have done in the past. So we would be looking at the budget presentation followed by the public hearing at the April 9th meeting. And then customarily, the following Thursday, we would have the budget workshop. That would be an opportunity for council to really get into the detail and review the budget based upon the feedback received at the public hearing. And then May 14th, consideration of the budget, and then that gives us a couple of extra days before the budget deadline of May 18th. Between April 16th and May 14th, we would also have an opportunity for further workshops as needed.
It's the Thursdays, Thursday, and then it's due on a Tuesday. Or the Monday. That was a Tuesday. Yeah, Monday.
Third Monday of May.
That's when it's due. I'll make the motion to approve.
Hold on, I'm checking my calendar.
I may be out of town after the 15th of May.
Well, what this only does, if you listen to my motion, all it is doing is adding one additional meeting on April. It's setting the agenda for the April 9th meeting, and it's setting the agenda for the May 14th meeting, which are already regularly scheduled meetings. All this is doing is adding an additional meeting on April 16th for a budget workshop, if I'm reading. No, that just says budget approval deadline.
that's
She's-
not,
Deadline.
Correct. She's saying she's putting that in there for informational purposes to give us guardrails. So my motion is only going to add one meeting at this point. We would obviously, at each of these motions, or each of these meetings, if we needed additional.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I'm rarely busy, but
You're gone when? That's when we're
May
doing it.
15th on.
Done. I'm amending. No, anyway, I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget schedule as recommended.
that's a regular meeting.
The 7th was.
No.
I'll second that.
Okay. Anyone else on council? Anyone in the audience like to speak on this? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right, item number 9A, Library Subcommittee Report.
So Jim is here from the library. However, I'm sure we saw the emails that went back and forth. But they would like to be on the agenda for March to present what they would like their vision of the library to be. Kenny, jump in if I'm missing anything. And I really like the design. I think, Ken, did you like the design too?
I mean, it's not really up to me to say.
Well, it's your personal opinion. I'm not saying you have to make it for everybody in the world.
You don't have
I'm
to
saying
share it now.
I feel like
I'm not, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from the library board. It's coming along.
I personally
They'll be
like
here in
them.
March.
Yeah,
That's our
so we
report.
would like to have them added, correct, Jim? The agenda in March, please, for a presentation. They've got all the schematics together, they have all the pricing together, and they would like to present. So can we please add that to the agenda in March as a presentation?
You just did,
Okay, great. Perfect.
right?
That is all we
That
have
is
to
our
report.
update. Did you want to add anything, Jim? All right.
All right, item number 10, Report of City Administration.
This week I attended an MML web meeting that's a regular reoccurring meeting. I also attended an MSU budget workshop. I had an advisory meeting with VC3, working on some outstanding issues and open tickets, and also having just some discussion about some items coming up for the next fiscal year for the budget. That's all I have to report for tonight. Thanks.
Okay, any questions for the city manager? All right, we'll just do report of mayor and city council. Council member Fletcher, would you like to start?
Sure. We recently had the Mulvey Path meeting, and really all I wanted to say is just I want to appreciate everyone that came out for that, and everyone that's continually we've been getting a lot of emails. We're hearing a lot of opinions, and that's important. I think we need to get more participation from. We want to hear from you guys. I know there were some issues with communication and whatnot, so that's something I know that I have a goal of improving that communication with time, and working with everyone. And we want to get more feedback on not only obviously the Mulvey Path, but just everything in general. We want to be able to lead you all. There was a couple things that, I heard a couple times people having a lack of confidence in us, and it made me sad. I want you guys to feel like you can approach any of us, about things. I want you to hope that we represent you because, but we don't know to represent you if we don't know what we don't know. So, long story short, I'm just saying thank you for those that did come out and voice their opinions and continue to do so, and I'd like to hear more from people in the future. So, I'll stop.
Councilmember Baranski.
I was just going to second that. That was just a conversation. It wasn't before council. Council hadn't voted on it. Council hadn't considered it. I'm a hard no on a 10-foot path, I'll tell you right now. Even if it's free, I'm a hard no on it. But I am a hard yes on getting sidewalks there. There's a very big difference between the two. So I wanted to, because we have received a lot of communication. We were just given 3 more emails today. So thank you to everyone who did reach out. Your voice is being heard and considered. Also, I know that there was obviously in the news, the CEO of the garbage contractor has been terminated. And hopefully that brings the changes that we desperately need with our services. I myself was a victim of it today and will be making an online complaint. So we hear your pain, we feel your pain, and we're right there with you, going to demand better services. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Shornack.
Well, first, happy Valentine's Day to all those who are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day. Because they want it as an official motion, I will officially make a motion that Mr. George Higgins will now be the liaison for the Historical Commission. They look forward to fresh blood. So I offer you as tribute.
Second. Do you accept?
Do you accept?
Do you accept the motion? I accept.
Do we have to appoint him to be?
It wasn't really an appointed thing, but I thought he would just feel better about
wanted
it.
it.
He wanted to be appointed, so, if we could, just for all reasons, anoint him.
Well, she just asked why I didn't show up. I said, I haven't been appointed. She said, it's not an appointment.
You're just a liaison.
There's a motion and a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go with God, Crispy. Great, awesome.
Aye.
They're a fun group. You'll enjoy them.
All right.
They're very hardworking. Also, they will obviously be having their open house coming up on Sunday. So they are going to be looking to do new presentations of old things. That's the best way to put it, I guess. But they are looking to do something for the 250th anniversary. I think they said 250 or 150th.
250.
250, yeah. A lot of 150s and 250, a lot of 50s going around. Any which way, so they're looking to collaborate with the city to do something collaborative with the city, with the Historical Commission. So that was about it.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Perry.
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. That is it.
That was simple.
Yeah, I was going to wear something red, but we had pictures.
Mayor Pro Tem Odell.
I just want to comment, we had a very successful Fraser First Blue Jean Ball. We had over about 150 in attendance, including some up here, and city manager who left early even though she won something. But we had a great event. It was enjoyed by all and raised money for Steffens Park coming up with future plans. And then I just saw today on our Fraser Recs page, the marshmallow drops coming up. So mark your calendars, March 28th. You do have to register. So it's a free event, but you do have to register for your age groups. So make sure you do that if you want to attend the marshmallow drop coming up. So other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Higgins.
Okay. I did have some things. The Mulvey Pathway Open House was very interesting. At the meeting, I was, evaluating it. I had not seen it before, like Councilmember Baranski had said. It was new to all of us, and normally I would be in favor of anything almost to improve walkability, that is, especially when it's 80% grant funded. It made it sound very appealing, but after seeing some pictures of other paths that have been paid for by similar TAP grants, I can see why people opposed it with such vigor. What I thought was interesting, it seemed that 1/3 of the people there opposed anything, 1/3 of the people there opposed just the path, and 1/3 of the people were in favor of the path. So it was very mixed, but sidewalks are expensive. So, and 1/3 of the people don't want anything there. So we have to be really careful. Somebody who came, I think her name is Nicole, she talked about how she thinks Macomb County does a terrible job at walkability, and I agree with that, but she was there to oppose the path. So it's very nuanced. People want more walkability, but they want it a certain way. But we do have to find ways to say yes to some things, especially when they're grant funded. Maybe not this one, right? But maybe something else somewhere, another project. I wanted to wish everybody happy Valentine's Day, like Councilmember Perry, but also happy Black History Month. And that shouldn't have to come from somebody with so little melanin. But it is going to this month. And there were some comments made last meeting in January about how Fraser is not a welcoming city. And you can agree with somebody on some things and disagree with them on other things, and I do disagree with that statement. I have lived in Fraser for almost 5 years, and my partner has more melanin than I do, and we have always felt very welcome. And I would encourage anybody, if you think people are being run out of town, you should go to our lovely police officers and our Chief Sam, because that sounds a little not appropriate, right? So I'll wrap up.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. I attended the Mulvey Path open house as well, and I will second Councilmember Higgins' comments. It was interesting. We got a lot of feedback. One of the things that I noticed, there was a definite acknowledgement that safety is a concern along parts of that road. After hearing everyone that night, I decided to drive up Mulvey looking at it through the residents' eyes, which is is that I should just go, and I heard all these things and I know where this person kind of lives and this person kind of. And as I did that, I said, I see their point. I see where that could be a concern. And as I was driving up the road, there was a woman walking on Mulvey because the snowplows had plowed large banks of snow. So I saw that part too. And so I'm looking at it in different eyes. Would love to see something happen there. TAP grants, the Transportation Alternative Program grant, is fairly narrow in many respects. It might not be the right way to get money to do something there, but it was an idea. So we'll see what happens. What AEW and the city manager may come back with an alternative plan that might fit that criteria. But resident input, I heard you loud and clear, and I think Crystal and George did. Sorry, I used your first names. But I think we all heard, and we got a lot of different perspective. And I'd say 1/3 were in for it. Many of those probably don't live on Mulvey. But I did start looking at the map. I did start looking at that as the overhead map, and I see some gaps in in that area, because that subdivision was supposed to be started and finished, but it never got finished, so there's empty lots, there's sidewalk gaps. Maybe there's something we can do in that area that could improve walkability. So I'm open to ideas, but at this point in time, I can't support, I said it on Facebook, I said, if it's a 10-foot asphalt path all the way, I am a hard no. That's just not, it just won't work. I had a great time at the Blue Jean Ball, and for one meeting, my wife is not here because she decided for Valentine's Day she was going to go to Florida with her sister, so happy Valentine's Day. Honey, I'll make sure I clip this and send you the video. No, she better. She took a picture with a palm tree this morning, so I'm sure she's in Florida. That's all I have tonight, and I look forward to the exciting budget season coming up. We've got a lot of work to do. And that's all. All right, item number 11, citizen participation. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Luxio Leon Onyx, and I'm a resident of Fraser. I've said my address a dozen times here, and I don't really feel comfortable doing that too much, so I said it before. Here we are. I would like to talk about something because this topic does really...
Hold on just a second, Lexi.
Is this good?
Back.
Is that right?
A little bit further.
Just
No,
a few more inches away from the mic.
There you go.
Like this?
Your voice carries very well.
Okay. This? Is this? That's the first? All right. Doing good.
First person you've ever said it.
Yeah. You're the first person you ever said, step back from the mic. But go ahead. Please continue.
All right. This topic does affect children because I love children, and I have been reading the Epstein files. And what I have found from these files is the company LifeTouch was mentioned in the files. Leon Black, that was CEO of LifeTouch. The school photography company, where all of these kids are taking pictures, and their pictures are being sent into a database for pedophiles to look at. And I'm lucky, and a lot of other women are lucky that they didn't get picked. So I really would love to strongly recommend to the council that we really need to look into these companies, especially if they are around children, and especially the companies that are in schools. Maybe start investigating the schools, who are really in these schools. The Epstein files, a lot of it I just cannot say and I will not say, but that part I did want to bring to your guys' attention. That pedophilia is rampant, and now I strongly believe that pedophilia is the beauty standard. The forcefulness of wanting women to look young all the time. Like, age is a beautiful thing. I think men should really be like Keanu Reeves and marry women in their age groups. He actually married a woman in his age group, and it is sad that I have to say that. Because after I have read the Epstein files, the world has gotten a lot more bigger and sadder and scarier to me. But you guys are officials. If you guys care about children, and especially if you have children of your own, I strongly recommend you look into these files, these companies, these people, investigate Fraser High School just to make sure, because there was already an incident at Fraser High School with a teacher, official, and a student. Yes. So pedophilia is rampant. Lots of predators out there. Lots of predators in power out there. And I was a victim. So this is why this topic I'm very adamant about it. And I would like to put a stop to this to the best I can. I'll die about it if I have to. So thank you very much for letting me speak on this matter.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Lesser, second by
Doesn't matter.
Councilmember Fletcher. All in favor of adjourning the meeting at 8:31 p.m., say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.